You ever have a day where your whole life flips upside down because of something that makes absolutely no sense? Yeah, that was me, Emily Cartron, a muggy Wednesday in Dallas, 2025. I was standing in the staff lounge at St. Mary's Hospital, still wearing my navy blue scrubs, when I heard the words that knocked the air right out of me. You're just too distracting for our patients. I swear, for a second, I thought it was some weird joke like one of those pranks nurses pull on each other to break up the graveyard shift blues. But no, this was for real. The HR manager wouldn't even look me in the eye, just slid a termination letter across the table and mumbled something about inappropriate attire and causing discomfort. You know what I mean? I'm just standing there thinking, is this really happening? I mean, it's not like I show up in anything but the same scrubs as everyone else. The only thing different about me is what God gave me. And believe me, I spent most of my teen years wishing I could blend in a little more. So, there I am, 27 years old, packed up in 5 minutes, walking out the front doors of the place where I've spent nights holding the hands of strangers, giving all I had, believing that kindness and good work would matter. Guess I was wrong, at least in their eyes. The humiliation burns, you know? It's not the firing itself. It's what it says, you're not enough, or maybe you're too much, and there's nothing you can do about it. That night, I stared at my phone for an hour before I finally called my big brother, James. Now, James not the type to lose his cool. Army captain, just got back from overseas, that classic come under pressure type. Always told me to let stuff roll off my back. But I could barely get the story out before he cut in, wait, so you got fired because of your looks? There was this long silence, then his voice gold, clipped, nothing like his usual. They said you were a distraction? Emily, this is ridiculous. The next morning, I find out he'd put on his full dress uniform medals, and Alan walked straight into St. Mary's like he owned the place. Let me back up. SEC James has this presence, you know, the kind that makes a room go quiet. He walked up to the front desk, politely asked for the administrator, and before I know it, he's in a conference room, staring down the very people who just upended my life. I heard later from a friend that everyone was buzzing. Why is there a soldier in admin? The HR guy starts stammering about professionalism and standards, but James, he doesn't flinch. My sister has saved more lives in this hospital than most of you have had hot dinners, he tells them, voice steady but fierce. She works double shifts, consoles families. She's the heart of your night, crew, and you're telling me she can't work here because of how she looks? Yeah, that happened. What really got them, though, was when he said, in the Army, we don't judge by appearances. We judge by actions, by how you carry yourself, by your heart and discipline. If you think I'm letting this go, you're wrong. I'll take it public. I'll talk to the media, to advocacy groups, whoever needs to know. And that's exactly what he did. That afternoon, James snapped a photo of me in my scrubs, posted it online with a simple caption. My sister, dedicated nurse, fired for being too distracting. Where's the justice in that? Didn't expect it to blow up, but by dinner, my phone was lighting up like a Christmas tree. Messages from strangers, nurses, teachers, even a few doctors poured in. People shared their own stories of being told to hide themselves, to fit into a box that never seemed to fit right. Then comes the media, circus local news first, then national. Suddenly, I'm sitting in my living room with a camera crew in my face, trying to explain why this matters, not just for me, but for every woman who's ever been told she's too much of something, too tall, too pretty, too loud, too different. And honestly, it's overwhelming. The whole country's got an opinion, and I'm caught in the storm. There's this one moment that sticks with me, a message from a nurse in Ohio. You made me feel seen. That, more than anything, made it all worth it. Meanwhile, St. Mary's is in full-blown damage control. The hospital releases a statement, apologizing for any misunderstanding, promising to review their policies. But you can't unring a bell, right? The public picked a side, and for once, it felt like they picked the right one. The momentum just kept building. A week later, out of nowhere, I get a call from Houston Wellness Medical Center, one of those top-rated, inclusive places you only hear about in articles on workplace happiness. The director tells me, we saw your story. We want you here, not for your looks, but for your heart. I packed my bags, drove down, and on my first day, it was like stepping into another world. Nobody gave me a second look for my curves. Nobody whispered behind my back. I was just Emily, nurse, colleague, person. That first lunch break, sitting with my new team, I realized I could breathe easy for the first time in weeks. And you know what? I'm not saying the fight is over, far from it. But my story sparked something. Other women started speaking up, sharing stories, demanding better. Policy groups got involved, and I heard whispers about new legislation in the works. It's not just about one hospital anymore. It's about everyone who's ever felt boxed in by someone else's insecurities. There's one more thing. Remember how I said James wasn't the type to lose his cool? Well, he did cry, just once when I told him thank you. He hugged me and said, "No one gets to tell you who you are." That stuck with me. I'm not a distraction. I'm not a problem to be solved. I'm a nurse. I'm a sister. And I'm standing here because I refuse to shrink to fit anyone's comfort zone. So maybe the world's not perfect, maybe it never will be. But as long as there are people willing to stand up, to shout when they're told to whisper, maybe we've got a shot. I got my happy ending new job, new friends, a little more fire in my belly, but the conversation's just getting started. Let's hear your take. Have you ever felt boxed in by someone's expectations? Is it justice when you're punished for being yourself? Or is there still work to be done? Drop your thoughts below, share your story, and let's keep the fire burning. Justice isn't just an idea, it's a fight we win together.